We move further to our last session, which is a panel discussion on passion in action, which is learning from the business enablers, stories on successful turnarounds and transformation. I would like to introduce you to all to our panel members, starting with Mr. 𝗍𝗂𝗃 𝗧𝗍, CIO of IDBI Bank, Mr. Pushkar Rege, CIO for UPL Limited, Mr. Abhijit Bhalerao, CIO for Raymond Limited, Mr. Muralidharan Ramachandran, CIO from StarTech, Mr. Sattam Bhattacharya, CITSO from Bharti AXA Life Insurance, Mr. Milind Korgaonkar, CIO and CDO for Bajaj Electricals Limited, Mr. Kishore Hirani, he's the CIO for Amara Raja Group, Mr. Tarun Pandey, he's the CTO for Aditya Birla Health Insurance. And this esteemed panel discussion is getting moderated by Mr. Rajkumar Ayella, CIO for RPG Group. I'll request all the panelists to please join us on stage and proceed with the panel discussion. Can we have a huge round of applause for them?
Good evening, everyone. I think we are the last guys, last batsmen. Good that I think one of the topic which we have right now is it's talking about the business enablers. So I think I'll be happy to host this, and so many veterans are over here. I think most of them knows me. I think few of them, I think will get to know each other. But I think to run this, I think I'll start with few of the things which I have in my mind. I think business transformation is something which we all have been running this from ages now, but now we have digital, we talk about business transformation, process transformations and all, which are part and parcel of life. So I think this will have to be looked upon from a different lens when we actually start executing any projects in any of the companies as such. So I'll be happy to moderate this and have few questions which I would like to take it up with the panelists over here. First, I would like to start with Kishore. Okay. Hi. I just wanted to understand what are your critical challenges you have employed for successful turnaround and the transformation in your business, particularly Amara Raja as such.
See, we have multiple strategies that we created. Of course, we have strategy and roadmap for our infra and security. While infra also we have nailed down in terms of we have a strategy for our networking, for our data center, for our cloud strategy, for our audio video collaboration strategy. On the security side in terms of, the MDR, XDR, the SOC, SOAR, SIM, the DLP. So we have various strategies and roadmap in each of those verticals and sub-verticals. But what we did was we coined one thing called IDEA, okay, DE representing digital enterprise. So initial focus was on, consolidating all MIS across the group. So there we rolled out HANA all across the group and one instance across all groups, including analytics, mobility, Fiori, and all that. So that was one aspect of the digital enterprise, including we rolled out PeopleStrong for our entire HR suite. Next was on the external focus. So all the interaction with our customers, the vendors, there we rolled out Salesforce and Ariba in terms of the entire interaction, both on the customers and the vendor side. Third is, the third aspect of that strategy was on the shop floor in terms of MES, IoT. So these three were the aspects of our digital strategy. And now the entire focus has shifted towards AI, Gen AI, B2C kind of thing. So that is a new aspect that we have added since last year, focusing around all those initiatives. And that's how, our kind of thing.
Good, Kishore. I think you brought one good concept called ADR into this. You said, what is ADR?
I said IDEA. So it is IDEA.
It's not IDEA. Okay.
Yeah. So DE is digital enterprise.
Oh. So you are able to transform, IT securities, infrastructure, applications, and finally now you are talking about the new age technologies in your organization.
Yeah, now the entire focus is as a digital AI piece, B2C piece, So we are very particular in terms of selecting the right use cases which have either a top line impact or a bottom line impact. Because as we move towards cloud and all these new technologies, the cost is like every year. So unless you have a right use case which gives you the return every year, we don't go ahead with that use case. So both on Azure side and on the Google Gemini, we are working on those use cases on the AI.
Fantastic. I think, Pushkar, I would like to hear your viewpoint on the same.
Yeah, a little bit about UPL as a growth strategy. I mean, for those who've been following us, it's a global company, and the growth has been predominantly, so we've been ranked number 5 globally. Of course, there's ups and downs in this industry from the context of chemicals and China, etc. So I would elaborate on the M&A and how the business growth and the IT strategy around that growth is the focus area. So typically, whenever we take, we partner with an organization or a country, because we are spread across 130 plus countries, and I think many of my fellow counterparts are going to start the journey in some form or the other, because I believe true growth is when you really globalize, and that's where I want to put UPL way ahead of the curve from others. So it's always been build the foundation. And we've like radically changed with the ERP strategies, and now everything on the cloud, whether it's in adding to my fellow colleague from Amar Raja, doing it in 170 countries, right from the ERP rollouts to the SFDCs of the world, to a best-in-class procurement strategy, and then with the focus of getting information right, whether it's descriptive or predictive, in a setup which is $6 billion. Right. Is the strategy, and it comes with people, process, and technology that flows, right from, getting the people right, not only your internal people, but the power users, the testers, the automation around it, using AI in that space. And lastly, obviously, security first has been an umbrella for us in the context, because you can fail fast and you can expose yourself, and that's one of the areas I've been personally pursuing. As a very key strategy, because and business understands, and you don't want to, worry about things like that, and it's been a priority for us.
Fantastic. I think let me take Tarun into confidence now. So Tarun, I think if you can give us some kind of insights in terms of key challenges which you have faced when you are doing the transition from your traditional business processes into digital.
So, thanks, Raj. I think transition is something which is constant.
Correct.
So for me, a transformation is BAU. Okay, the major thing that is today digital, people are talking digital, a few years back people are talking cloud. So for me, these are all buzzwords. Right. And the reason why I call them buzzwords is because digital is nothing but one more delivery channel. If in true sense is just another delivery channel, right, which is expected to be available 24/7. So everything revolves around how do you enable the whole enterprise. It's no more an IT transformation, because IT is embedded and IT runs the business today. If you shut down the servers for half an hour, people have forgotten how to do business on paper. So it's IT which is driving the business. So I do not believe that there is anything called an IT transformation. It's a business transformation. And to do that, you have to constantly be doing a change management with people.
Correct.
Okay, it's a mindset change, because traditionally you have been working 10 to 6 and the systems were available, your call centers were operational 10 to 8 maybe. Okay, but now here is a consumer who can come to you at any point of time for any need, whether it is a sale or a service need.
Correct.
And you have to change the whole mindset of the organization, that it is no more a brick and mortar business. It's a business which is available to consumers at any point of time, at any place. This is a major shift in the whole mindset, and hence anything that needs to be done has to be prepared with a strategy of available at any point of time, scalable at any point of time, and how do you use data. Because today, it's no more paper business. Everything is digitized in every manner. The amount of information that you're having today is an asset. How you're using that information to either create new products, improve customer satisfaction, improve customer experience, improve customer onboarding and engagement. These are my drivers that I would look at any point of time. I am not interested in IT infrastructure, applications, security, because these are BAU items which are supposed to be inherently done. It is a consumer-based IT today. And everything has shifted, the model is shifting, and it has been constantly shifting. 2010, when I did my first private cloud setup, it was a change.
Correct.
And the cloud journey has continued. It has evolved from a private to a public to a hybrid to a multi-cloud. It's just the ways are changing. But the concept is same. You are undergoing a change at every point of the time, and your consumer is changing at every minute. So if you are working with that outward-in strategy of doing everything for the consumer, for improving the consumer experience, everything falls into place. The toughest part is not technology. The toughest part is human psychology. It's the mindset change that you have to bring in within the organization. And that's where I feel the CIO's role has changed. He is more of a change manager, a transformation agent who understands what is the consumer need, how that behavior is changing, and how do you transform your organization, mindset, and process to ensure that you are delivering to the customer and you're reaching to the customer at any point of time.
Correct. I think you brought in a very good point of change management in this. So if you typically see the change management in terms of people, process, and technology, because these are the three areas which I feel in the organizations which we need look at. You brought in a point called people's management or people's change management for that matter.
I think it is people, process, and technology is an old dynamics.
Right.
I think it's more people, process, and technology is now inherent part. It's more of the mindset and the culture change that you have to bring in.
Fantastic. So, Prakash ji, I think I just want to have your thoughts on both the challenges as well as the change management part within the organization as such.
Thank you. Thank you. So basically, as my friend Tarun, he has been my ex-colleague as well in my previous organization, and he has said that it's a mindset. I fully agree with him, and also I'd like to state here that the mindset change has been already happening. It's already happening, and the tech and digital are in the center stage now. They are very much part of the boardroom discussions or the business discussions. I mean, so any business transformation, it's all the business transformation led by tech and digital, let me say. So here if I say, I would see that there would be some kind of time series we can say. So earlier we were looking for, the main transformation agent should be where the compute and grid and all those kind of things which emerge to the cloud. From the cloud, the next steps comes to the digital, and the next steps comes to the AI. I think these are the stages of transformation, how we walk through it. And the tech and digital are de facto part of the transformation strategy of BFSI or the organization. So given that it's already there as far as center stage, now let's discuss about something about the challenges which I'd like to talk about here. If we see the challenges, like you talk about the people, process, and technology, so I'd like to touch all these three paradigms. Now, let me talk about first the tech, right? So tech I would like to go through because earlier we were more like a control freak and having everything in our control. We want to build the functionality our own or put everything in our data center, everything in our own DC. Whereas the way tech and digital will go through that, it will less depend upon your features. It will be more towards the collaborative PaaS platforms with a lot more fintech, bringing in the cutting edge features to you. So if you are depending upon your own skills, your own capabilities, then probably it's not the right strategy. The right strategy would be that you are good in something, that's your core strength. But beside this, look at the fintech and digital who can augment you and multiply your ability and scale. They will help you. So if you see any journey which I am orchestrating, whether you take the customer experience journey or you take the some kind of onboarding journey or servicing journey, These all journeys will encompass through multiple tech partners, multiple fintech partners. And so here, the risk comes about it, what it comes from the fintech partners. So are we ready to de-risk, or how we are compensating the risk, which is mainly the cyber security and system tech related risk, which is emanating from the multiple fintech partners. That's the one thing which we need to work it out. And also more than that, the stability of the fintech partner itself is the question, right? Today they are good, you engage in partnership with them, but you never know that in the next few years how it will work. That partner may not be existing, that fintech might have overtaken, acquired by somebody. A lot of challenges around this tech-related stuff. Beyond this, the one more challenge which comes because of the cyber security is that these all tech and digital comes with own set of cyber security risks. So given everything in your data center, you have good control. But the moment it goes beyond your organization boundary and goes to the cloud and other things, then the cyber security risk also comes. And so we have to work within the guardrails of the regulatory framework, like RBI has said. To bank, that even you do the 𝗍𝗂𝗂𝘂 or video or onboarding journey of the customers, you have to, the branch RM, relationship manager, need to meet the customer, and he has to see the customer before approving his account opening, right? So that's something, right now, this all about the regulatory guardrail. So those regulatory compliance will also comes added on to cost of this. The third risk which comes about, I'll touch about the people-wise. So people-wise, of course, the people requires to be, as Tarun said, my friend Tarun said, that we need the mindset of the people to be changed. And more than that, there could be internal reluctance, because by nature, we all are hesitant or reluctance of the change. Let me say it's normally it works, because there are fixed set of operations, there are fixed set of people, the people are good, operationally they are very effective, they turn around at long. Now, why to change that? And change itself, there's a lot more resistance. Beside this, the people is skilling, that is very important. And more than that, the tech and digital requires a different kind of people structure, what we call it as a agile team and agile IT, agile operations, though all not to be bring in. So I would like to take a stop here, but the thought over here, these all things, makes kind of very, very challenging. At the same time, the future is not very reasonably converted. You think of today something, you put up the KRI, this is what I'll achieve, we will achieve in 3 years, but the journey is so rocky, rough and tough that it is very much evolving. Every step, milestone, every milestone you have to think through whether, I need to take this path or I need to change the directions, and that's why the risks attached to the digital and tech are very, very high. And that's the basic reason that the management, struggles a lot to give the approval on the investment what it requires, because the potential ability of converting this initiative into the cost-benefit analysis, that's something requires a different kind of working.
Very good.
Thank you.
I think you covered all the 3 areas. Now let's move on to the best practices. I think, Pushkar, I would love you to answer this in terms of the best practices the IT leaders should follow to use your time, money, and the resources in an optimized way.
I think it's an intelligent question, because I think the pressure on the CIOs is always to optimize. I would not say keep the cost low, but to optimize the output. Yeah, exactly. The ratio of output to input has to be strong. And I think for me, the one solution over the 20 years where we've done, I personally managed more than maybe 100+ projects in the same country, in the same company and in multiple countries. The recipe has been effective preparation and eventually evolving into a program management office, because we deliver 1 project a day and maybe 12 projects in a year in the transform, so grow, transform, run context. The resource, so when you do a preparation and going back to the PPT model, the people readiness is more important. So we have 2 formulas. Don't start till he's really ready to go. Because you might run, but if he's just crawling or he's having a mindset problem, so that's where we wear the hats of influencers, and not only because they will not take the first step in some cases. Sometimes it's very interesting that we found that while Indians are techies, they're most reluctant to, and I'm calling myself an Indian here, most reluctant to use techie. But I've had very successful cases in Latin America or Europe where they start with tech. Correct. Because they can't imagine doing something on an Excel sheet, which is very, very easy for us, right? So these are the diversities we've had, but with an effective program management, with an effective tool management, with an effective ITSM, with an effective quantification of capacity planning and resource modeling, with strategies of, let me touch the people competency on the IT side. What you insourced last year could be outsourced next year. It's a very, very dynamic activity, and you've got to keep churning, and sometimes you can build the competency, sometimes you got to go with partner strategies, and that's where I think most of my time goes, the people strategy, hiring the people, getting the partners who would know the business as well as know the tech piece. But if you get the act right, you can get output. And again, in the program management, the preparation phase, getting your definition of ROI, and not just for a number indicator, but building a business case with clear indicators of how you would measure it.
Correct.
And my last statement here is, many IT guys fail here, and I fail with convincing my team. Your journey begins after go live and not ends at go live.
That's right.
So we all think work is over and we get a customer satisfaction index, or whatever we call it for ourselves, or score. But you go and measure that after 1 year. In some cases you have succeeded, in some cases you have sunset the application also.
Correct.
So it's very dynamic, but I would like to share that even if we strike 80%, and obviously my fellow colleague said about the digital is kare ya na kare to pachtaye, na kare to pachtaye kind of a thing.
That's right.
I think philosophically we got to progress. We got to take along the business with us, and they are in the driver's seat. We would never take credit for success, but probably take the debit for failure, and that's the cultural aspect.
That's absolutely right. So I think, Milind, I would love to hear from you, which is a normal buzzword in terms of AI, analytics and all. How is it playing as a pivotal role in supporting the digital transformation exercises these days?
Thank you for the question. I think AI coupled with the analytics, I think is a deadly combination this decade, which I see, which is going to transform the digital in a big way. So one, if you look into analytics and AI were there for a few years back, but then with the compute power, first now you are able to churn out a massive amount of data and get those data second into insights which are data driven and which you can able to work across. Taking it further, number 3, when you look into it, is that now the decisions which you are taking are not only the descriptive decisions, but you are able to predict, as well as you are able to now prescribe, saying is that what action should be taken across if the data points in a certain particular way. And hence, the fourth structure which I foresee is that it's going to lead into a lot of automation with the AI sitting on top of analytics, driving those particular prescriptions-based activity on the data which is churned out. And then once you put across these automations, fifth, you are able to evolve onto the new processes or new particular service models which are going to come across, be it with respect to customer. I personally see it, a lot of particular use cases coming across in a service industry, where AI and analytics together is able to drive out a new way of leading into the customer experience, which goes across onto. And hence, if I have to just summarize, I think AI and analytics together was going to be the big change more from a point of a digital transformation.
Very good. I think, Abhijit, as a follow-on question, sorry. So, can you highlight few challenges, in terms of AI and, and implementations within the organization, kind of use cases which we have, okay, within the organization, how you are able to, take leverage all these things?
Thank you. So, as Milind rightly said, AI surely is the key driver in all digital transformations. It allows business to automate the routine processes, streamline operations, and enhance decision making using machine learning, natural processing language and things like that, right? But there are obvious challenges, when we look at AI implementations. To my mind, it has a potential for bias and indiscrimination. based on biased data to be able to, which is used in training those underlying AI models, and which could then lead to, harmful outputs, unfair outputs based on the biased data. It's also probably because of the way we design the underlying AI algorithms. And hence, it's necessary to have a governance framework, right, around, and regulations around, the way AI models are built. The other challenge that I foresee, and most of us here would have experienced it, is the kind of computing power that is needed for AI models based on massive data sets and, complex algorithms. And obviously, when I talk of high compute power, it means, the cost of, TPUs and GPUs that goes in the underlying infrastructure. It's also the other challenges on the energy consumption and cost, obviously. With this high penetration of AI, the risk of data privacy and data security also is increasing. And again, that's one area which I believe is a challenge when it comes to AI. The implementation also, right, when it comes to AI, implementation has to be methodical. I mean, it all starts for all of us, and some of them mentioned, right, is to have a relevant business case which is in line with business objectives. So to be able to identify a business case itself is a challenge. And even if you have a business case, for AI you need to have good data, clean data. At times, this prerequisite is not in place. We end up, spending efforts on cleaning data first to be able to have the right kind of AI models delivered. So, and once, even if data is in place, then we need to be able to identify the right kind of models and algorithms and the logics. So AI will take time, right, to evolve, and we'll have to have the time and patience to be able to wait till the time it actually enters in a self-learning mode.
Correct.
So
and the accuracy plays a vital role.
Accuracy obviously plays a big role, right? So and lastly, the general perception or the general understanding of AI in general population is limited to my view. Right, and but there are misinterpretations, there are misconceptions about AI, which then are showstoppers to the desired output, and hence awareness in terms of constraints and the capabilities of AI also through the right means of awareness and education will have to be in place.
Correct.
So these are some of the challenges. Coming back to the second part of your questions in terms of use cases relevant to our industry. So supply chain optimization is one area where I've seen extensive use of AI. Say for example, these AI models are used to generate reasonable or to predict reasonable demand, right? And the inputs to it is our historic sales data, or maybe budgets, right? Or the current market trends. And in our case, seasonality. So like festive seasons, wedding seasons. So all of these go as inputs on these models to be able to have a predictable good demand generation. Also, we are using AI in the platform which we are using for transportation management to be able to optimize transport routes, right? And then to be able to club orders, partial truckloads, clubbing orders, to be able to have cost optimization for transports, which is based on various parameters like rates, transporters, volumes, routes, and other things, right? HR is one area where, AI is extensively used. While we have started some of the POCs, but it's mainly, into hiring, right from the resume shortlisting to be able to map the right role to the right job, to be able to have automatic responses to the frequent answers. And also, cobots being used on our shop floors to be able to do the repetitive load lifting working alongside our workers on the shop floor. So these are some of the applications, especially in IT, in IT support and in IT operations. So streamlining operations, our regular tasks like infrastructure monitoring, backups and all of that can be automated. In terms of the ITSM tools, the regular types of incidents can be addressed by a bot you don't need really users to be able to chase IT engineers for repeated type of incidents. So there are various applications,
Even
pertaining
security
to
is
AI,
something where,
and security, risk and compliance.
without saying
so
it.
there are AI based tools, yes,
Exactly.
which are very, very useful.
which is not humanly possible also.
Yes. So these are some of the applications that I can think of.
So, Sattam, your thoughts on challenges and the use cases, if you can add on this.
For AI you are talking
Yes,
about?
yes.
So, well, I think AI, if you say, apart from the large language model which has come in recently, AI has been there from quite some time. When we had been in our business, which is we are in insurance, so risk assessment is something which is extremely important for us.
What kind of challenges did you foresee when you were deploying?
So with this large language models coming in, slowly what is happening, what has, like at one point in time, normal computation, it slowly moved towards the edge. And for AI also it will happen. So now it is centralized and slowly it will move towards the edge. As we move towards the edge, the challenge obviously becomes the security, the data security, and also the trust that you build. So you cannot, there are certain things which you'll be then doing with AI, who is accountable for if there is any kind of discrepancy in the, say, data delivered to the end customer. When I say end customer, it can be end user also.
Correct.
Some AI use case running with your partners, and the partner then adopts something which is then again on a biased data or something. So underlying data, as good the underlying data will be, the results will be better. Create the entire loop so that you constantly learn and improve. And thirdly, I don't think this large language models is there to be suitable for everyone, as they are extremely expensive one, and slowly, in my view, the small language models, industry-based small language models, rather than the LLMs, the SLMs will become more relevant with coming days.
Correct. So I think good thoughts which came up. I think let's understand some basic fundamentals from Muralidharan. How do you think the organizations can align their digital transformation goals with the overall business strategy?
I take a clue from what my friend Tarun said in the beginning. There is nothing called digital transformation or IT transformation and business transformation.
Absolutely right.
It's all business transformation. Right? And when we really look at business objectives, I have been following this for donkey's years now. I align it primarily to 4 key elements, right? Initiatives that drive your business growth, that is revenue growth, okay, which is the top line. Initiatives that basically drive cost optimization, which is your bottom line growth. Initiatives that take care of regulatory compliance. We are just getting enamored by that day by day. And last but not the least, I used to earlier call it a decade back as customer experience, but now I will enlarge it to call about stakeholder experience, which means customer experience, employee experience, and other things, right? So any initiatives that you do today under any of these things means there is a business objective that is met. So eventually it is being driven by a business stakeholder and not IT or CDO, whatever you want to call it, CIO or CDO or anything of that sort, right? So I think that's the first thing, at least I know, and that's how we drive that within the organizations that at least I work with. Second, I think is the forms have changed, technologies have changed, right? And that's where you start leveraging some of these technologies. Now again, I will not get too much into this AI and other things because like I believe how we were with cloud, right? 15 years back when cloud was first heard, people would just do a virtualization using VMware and they'll say cloud. Okay, today also I think AI is a buzzword which is just being overly used for every small thing. It could be a small machine learning, but then it's all called AI. No? Everything is clubbed under the word AI. So that's only a channel, so I will not get into that. But anything that you really do around this is extremely important that we do. So for example, just to give the organization I'm representing today, so if you really look at that from a perspective of how is it that we drive it, I would probably give a use case here. We are in the BPO business, a BPO business where StarTech basically looks at delivering customer experience services to its customers. Now, where we use technology, you can call it AI and other things, is around how do we enhance the customer experience, leveraging digital tools, For example, a digital tool could be agent assist, because today technology enables you to reach an agent through omni-channels, irrespective of the channel. You know, earlier you used to have voice or email or chat or social as separate channels. Today, a customer can come through any channels, but with the ability of data, analytics, okay, your data lakes and whatever IT strategies you have, underlying platforms you have, and with computing power today available, your ability to quickly get insights from that data and present it in front of the agent on a real-time basis while that conversation is going on, basically, thus enabling the agent to be much more enabled to service the customer is a transformation that is there. Today, I think that's where technologies are helping it. Similarly, we can talk about many use cases, and I'm taking more of a customer side, because I think we heard a lot of these things from an enterprise side of HR, IT, and all those things. So
that was something which I was interested to know, because you covered the top line, you covered bottom line, you covered regulatory compliances, and then you covered the stakeholders' experiences. So I was about to ask you in terms of saying how is the customer centricity is being taken care, and any use cases in that.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? When the agent, we are a third-party BPO, right? So when we are actually a B2B2C business, right? So basically, we have customers whose customers we service on behalf of them as an outsourced service provider. So our ability to get insights into the customer. So one use case that I talked about was, irrespective of the channel, enabling the agent to get a clear view with analytics there, and with now GenAI also be getting in there, ability to give a transcript which is very easy for the agent to take care of the customer is something that we can look at. Another thing that we are trying to do a lot of work is, again, all of these things are still early days. I think I'm sure all of us will align to that. AI is still new, a lot of use cases are still coming up, is around sentiment analysis. Now, can you actually determine the sentiment based on the tone of the call or the tone of the email or any of the channels that is being used, and thus be able to help the agent respond back appropriately, keeping in mind the sentiments of the customer at that point of time? Is some of these use cases are potential things from a customer perspective, at least from in the industry that I'm representing today, is something that we are trying to do.
Thanks. I think, any thoughts on this from Satyam?
With respect to transformation, as you were speaking about, these days I think transformation, of course, from a long time, at one point in time it was like IT was a provider of something that the business will require. Today, IT is basically a partner in implementing the business goals. So for initiating any transformation program or pick up a use case, which then be defined as a transformation initiative, agreeing on the business objective and achievements is the most important thing. And then to track it, like he said, that it's the go live is not the end of the journey, but it's beginning of another journey to then realize or to assess at every step whether the transformation that you're bringing in, the cost that you're putting in, everything together is making sense or realizing the business objective or not. That is one of the, I think the way organizations are now transforming themselves is to put IT at that point wherein they are just the business partner who agree on a transformation objective in terms of business, and then track it to the point of whether it is being achieved. Otherwise, that use case is then dropped at some point in time. So this is the entire journey that what we now partner to.
Thanks. I think we covered most of the areas. I think the strategies, the challenges, using AI ML within the ecosystem, use cases in that, optimization, best practices. We also covered the alignment of the organizational goals with the overall business objectives as such. I think I would like to thank everyone for sharing your thoughts. I think this was, I'm thankful that I've been with the veterans, and I could get a lot of insight from you also. And with this, I would like to thank everyone over here. for covering this up and giving the insight for the entire audience as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your insights. Please stay back. And can I request you to please come forward for a group photograph? Please stay back, sir, and I'll request Milind sir to felicitate all our panelists and our moderator, starting with Mr. Rajkumar Ayella from RPG Group.
Thanks.
Mr. Om Prakash from IDBI. Mr. Pushkar Rege from UPL Limited. Mr. Abhijit Bhalerao from Raymond Limited. Mr. Muralidharan Ramachandran from StarTech. Mr. Sattam Bhattacharya from 𝗤𝗧𝗍 Life Insurance. Mr. Kishore Hirani from Amara Raja Group. And Mr. Tarun Pandey from Aditya Birla Health Insurance. Can we give them a huge round of applause? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much once again. We'll be starting with our award ceremony soon. You have to allow us 2 minutes to set up the stage. Thank you.
I just came directly from